David C. Jones, and it's time for another Before the Curtain Goes Up. And I am here with the amazing Rick Tay, who's written his very first play. Oh, I just made a little rhyme. Hi, Rick Tay.
Hello, how are you?
Now, this is your first play, but it's not your first time writing, because you've written movies.
Yes, I've written a feature film, John Applejack.
I was in that!
Exactly. And I've written about and produced about 9 short films as well. And it's my first time writing for theater, so it's quite exciting.
Now, this is what drew you to that? Did you just feel this isn't a movie? This feels like it needs an audience, like a live audience? Is that what happened, or?
Well, I have to thank people at vAct, Vancouver Asian Canadian Theatre Company, especially Angela Macbantai, who twisted my arm to submit to their MSG lab situation, and which nurtures up and coming playwrights. And they were looking for content, and I just had this story, I guess, in my mind that I wanted to put on paper, and that's what happened, I guess, 3 years ago now. And they told me to submit a proposal, and I just had this concept and this idea, and I thought I'd share it with them. And they, hats off to them for having the patience to deal with me. Because I just, I don't have any experience writing a play, but that was the whole point of MSG Lab for vAct, is that they really do walk you through some skills, and I was lucky enough to be part of it. And they developed it and went through a few labs and readings, and they nurtured it to become a full-scale production coming up in March. So
Now, my understanding and my experience is that movies have hundreds of locations, whereas plays have 1 or 2. So is that one of the things that you were like, and then they go to the store, and then they go to the park, and then they were like, Rick, you're gonna have to pull back on the locations.
Well, funny enough, no, I didn't feel like because I don't know. I just feel like I'm gonna write creatively whatever way I want, and I'll let the dramaturg deal with pulling me back.
Nice.
Because
Nice.
I mean, I do come from theater. I have a BFA in theater, and I've directed theater, I've acted in theater, but I've never written for it. But so, having been part of the theater community, I also recognize that I can do whatever I can imagine. And then, having been the director, I've had to problem solve myself. So why don't I challenge a director to deal with my crazy imagination? So I added more locations for fun.
Nice. Nice. This scene takes place on a hot air balloon, and then this scene takes place on a SkyTrain.
Exactly.
You can do that on stage, right?
Now, and you can do it in a black box and have everyone imagine it.
There you go. We just use slides. Now, and I was just going to say, you had a theater company for a while, Sky Corner, if I remember correctly. And
that's correct.
Was that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And you did falsettos, which I just love that production, if I remember correctly. Am I remembering correctly, or am I drunk?
It was my first show. I did you see it?
I did.
Yes.
I loved it.
That's amazing.
You're great.
Oh man, that pulled at my heartstrings to choose that show as my first show I ever directed and produced. I was so proud of it to this day. So thank you for watching.
Well, and now let's get to this My Little Tomato, one of 2 tomato shows going on in Vancouver right now, or the Lower Mainland, because of course I talked with a gentleman who wrote a show called Tomatoes Nearly Killed Me. Was he nearly killed by a little tomato? Because there's a lot of tomato shows going on right
now. I enjoyed. I love food.
Okay.
As you know from John Applejack,
Yes.
I tend to put food in everything that I do.
Nice.
But I also
you were in the Divas too, right? Because you were
that's correct. Yes.
I know your entire life, Rick Tay.
Oh, David C. Jones.
So tell us about My Little Tomato. Tell us about it. What is it? What is it about a little tomato? Does it kill
actually,
people?
it is. No, it doesn't kill people. It brings people together.
Is it a little cherry tomato?
It's a beef steak tomato.
Okay.
It's rotten.
Ooh.
it's falling apart. It isn't perfect, and yet it is loved, and that's part of where our lead character Keaton Chu, whose parents give him their farm after their passing, and he inherits it, and decides to take over the farm and really make it organic, and he just finds solace in being amongst uh, living creatures that don't talk back to him. So it's a it's a relatively interesting character that I found as I was creating this play, that is a little lost in love, in learning how to love.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, so it's a little bit, he's got a history with relationships and trauma, and he just needed to escape to his farm, and ends up falling in love with this tomato at first, and and recognizing that maybe tomatoes are more friendly than people.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And you have an amazing, it sounds very mysterious almost. Now you have an amazing cast, because if I'm not mistaken, Nelson Wong is involved in the show.
That's correct.
And
And
he's
so
amazing.
yes, absolutely, absolutely, and he stars as Keaton Chu. So
Nice.
yeah.
One of the things I love about him is because he has an improv in his background. I've seen him in shows where he makes a choice. Sometimes you see that, like, I digress too much, but I've seen other actors who have comedy in their background, that when they do drama, they sometimes will make a choice that you would go, only a comedian would think to make that choice. A drama, like, it doesn't mean it's not dramatic, but I've seen him in shows, and I've directed him a couple times, and you just go, oh, he brings so much to drama and heart. That little flourish of sparkle, because he's also very, very funny.
Well, I think the flip side is also important as well too. I think a lot of comedy has a lot of serious tones to it, and pardon the way I describe the show, perhaps, because the thing is, this is also a romantic comedy. And so, what I do love about Nelson's work is his ability to bring that gravitas to comedy as well too, that seriousness, and there's some tough topics in there in this show that I think I've brought on.
Nice.
But I think I have a tendency to like to tackle difficult subjects with comedy, because that's digestible to me, and that's how I share my whimsy, and how I see the beauty of life, is that it's imperfect, like that tomato, like I described.
I had a teacher a long time ago who said, we won't see the dark if we can't see the light. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So who else is in this cast? Who else you got? Or is it just Nelson playing everyone? I can't wait to see I can't see him play a tomato.
We've got Nelson to start, and then we have Taylor Kare.
Nice.
And yeah, and they both have a lot of experience in both film, TV, and theater as well too. Taylor Kare comes from musical theater as well too. And so we've got somebody with the skills to bring another character to life, that is part of the story as well too.
You're so big. You're so big. I love it.
Well, I love people to discover the play. I'm not going to tell everybody.
Give everything away. But it's not a murder mystery. It's not a murder mystery. Who done it? Okay, so that's the cast. Who else is involved in the show? Who else is bringing your little tomato to life?
Well, Joanna Garfinkel. She's been an amazing dramaturg for me for the last 3 years, and I owe her much to this production, and also the two wonderful artistic directors that are bringing this to life as well too. Derek Chan from vAct, and Cameron McKenzie from Zee Zee Theatre, who are both presenting the show along with the Cultch and Rice and Bean Theatre.
Fantastic. You got a lot of people who believe in this project.
I'm really blessed.
I'm going to give you the last word here, Mr. Rick Tay. Oh, I'm frozen a little bit. I'm filming this at my office at the Vancouver Film School. And so I'm on Wi-Fi. So I'm freezing every now and then because of the signal. Hopefully it is still recording our voices. So did I freeze for you, Rick?
What happened? Oh,
I froze for a second. You're not frozen. Okay.
Damn it.
Okay. So before we lose the signal completely, you're
Okay.
going to get 12 seconds. You're going to look directly at your camera and you are going to tell people why they should go see this show. So you can't just read the press release. You have to convince them. You've put all this heart and work into it. And now you have to convince these people that they should go and take their hard-earned money, plunk it down on the counter, and go see My Little Tomato. So, Rick, you're on in 3, 2, 1.
If you've ever wondered how to love and in spite of yourself, and to really be out there for someone else, including creatures and produce and anyone else that wants to fall in love with you, there's some answers in this play that I've thought I'd share, and I hope you enjoy my insight.
How wonderful. Well, if that doesn't sell it, I don't know what will. Well, Rick, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to the show. I'm seeing the other tomato show on Friday, so I'll see if I can draw parallels between the tomatoes.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Rick, so much. I adore you, and I know the show is just going to be a delight, just like you.
Oh, I appreciate your time. You're an absolute delight too, and I thank you so much.